Today I'm starting a new series on this channel, focusing on a way to continue enjoying cycling despite my chronic illness. I absolutely love cycling, and it has changed my life, and I know lots of you feel the same way. It's the thing we look forward to at the end of the day after a long, hard day at work. 8 months ago, I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, a neurological disease that affects my nervous system, my energy levels, pain, arthritis, so many different things that are preventing me from enjoying cycling the way that I used to enjoy it. This video series is a tribute to anybody who's struggling to ride the way they used to. For any reason. It could be mental, emotional, physical. You could have limitations or disabilities preventing you from doing that. You're all invited, and this is a tribute to you. There's a whole long backstory that I don't need to get into, but for years and years, I've been having chronic health problems, joint pain, lack of energy, increased muscle soreness, and then eventually I started to get extreme knee pain on my rides. I could go about 45 minutes and then the knee pain would kick in. Then a couple weeks later, I'd be 20 minutes into a ride and the knee pain would kick in. And then eventually, I always felt knee pain when I was riding. That worried me. I didn't know what it was. And I went to a bunch of doctors. I went to some physical therapists. We couldn't quite find a reason for it. Long story short, I finally got a diagnosis for the joint pain. It's called psoriatic arthritis. It's kind of like, it looks like a skin disease. I'll show you the risk of being gross. Here I've got a plaque, a patch of super dry skin on my elbow, this kind of dry, flaky skin. And you think, what the heck? That looks like a skin disease. Kind of. We're learning that psoriasis is often an external manifestation of an internal autoimmune problem. For a lot of people, it happens on the joints. I have it on my elbows. I have it on my knees. And it's a manifestation of arthritis inside the joints, and the skin shows it on the outside. So it's a very painful form of arthritis, but that didn't explain why I'm running out of energy and I'm feeling drained and tired all the time, and why my muscles are just full of lactic acid and they never seem to just bounce back even weeks after a ride. I finally found a doctor who was able to diagnose what was going on with me. She was able to diagnose me with ME/CFS, myalgic encephalomyelitis, or chronic fatigue syndrome. And to be honest, I'm not even 100% sure this diagnosis is spot on, perfectly correct, but it's the best explanation I've had for what I'm going through. Now, I know the tendency for the viewers is to jump to conclusions and tell me what your diagnosis is. I appreciate your desire to help, but one thing I've learned with dealing with a chronic illness is people need to be heard and listened to more than they need advice. I know you've got the perfect diet, the perfect exercise regime, the perfect supplements or vitamins that would fix all my problems, but that's not actually what I need right now. I'm working with professionals to work through that, and the intentions are good. But remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That should remind us that we need to do more listening than speaking and recommending in life. So basically, ME/CFS is a neurological disease. It affects the nervous system. The nervous system, the fight or flight response in your body that is in charge of dealing with stress and pumping up adrenaline and giving you energy when you need it, is broken with me. There's still a lot we don't know, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert on ME/CFS, but here's what I've come to learn so far, and maybe this will change as my knowledge increases through time. But imagine your body having a battery of how much energy you have through the day. Most of us go to sleep and our battery gets charged up to 90 to 100% to give us the energy we need to complete that day. With ME/CFS, with me, my body battery's at about 9, maybe 10%. And so I have 1/10 the energy I used to have to complete all the things I need to do. When you have a full battery of 100%, you don't really pay attention to all the little things that eat up your body battery because you've got such a big surplus, you don't feel it so much. But when you have a 9 or 10% body battery, you feel everything, even small things like walking from a far parking spot into the grocery store, standing up for too much time, doing anything physical or overly emotional or stress. Even just sitting at a computer and working for 3 hours can drain that 9% body battery. So what my doctor had me do, and this has been super helpful, is start each day with a list of all the priorities I need to get done, and then cross off over 90% of it because I don't have the energy for it. And it's really forced me to focus on what's important in life. Now, I happen to be a religious person. I'm a strong Christian, and it really shapes my outlook on life. And I have a whole religious perspective of this that I'm not going to get into here. That's not the purpose of this video. But it has given me so much strength as I try to find meaning in this difficulty. But as I look at my list of all the things I need to do in my day, and I cut out 90% of them, I can't just push them off to tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm not going to have 100% battery either. I have to stop doing things that drain my battery that are not absolutely crucial. So if my daughter has a back to school night, I have to save 4% of my body battery for that. So I better make sure that by 2 p.m. I haven't used up all my battery, or I'm done and I won't make it. Or if I do make it and I force myself to go even though I don't have energy, I will pay for it for weeks as I try to rebuild that 2% body battery back up to 9 or 10%. Now, the reason I'm at 9% instead of 100% is because my nervous system is always switched on to fight or flight mode. Think of it like driving a car and you're sitting at a stop sign redlining it. Our nervous system is intended to pump adrenaline into us to keep us alert when danger's around. But when the danger leaves, our nervous system should calm down and you should get back to this calm, resting, polyvagal state. My body doesn't know how to do that. It's always stuck in redline mode. So my nervous system is completely out of whack. We go through these push and crash cycles where I've got a job to do. I'll push through my 9% battery, and then I'll just crash. And then it'll take a while to get back up. And if I don't let my battery fully recharge, I'll crash again. And I'll just get into this hole where my battery really doesn't recharge. And that's what's been happening for the past couple of years, is I've just been crashing and crashing and crashing deeper, not knowing it, just thinking, man, why do I feel so sick? Why do I have no energy? Why do my knees hurt when I ride? How come I can only go for a 40-minute ride now when I used to go for a 3-day ride? And I didn't know what was going on. So it's been really helpful to have this context. When you have 100% body battery, you can feel it when you're getting down into the 20% zone and you kind of stop doing crazy stuff. When you start at the 9% zone, by the time you feel it, you're at the 1% zone and it's too late. And so what I've had to do is time myself and stop myself throughout the day and say, okay, I got to check in. It's 2 o'clock. How's my energy level? I don't feel drained, but let's think about everything I've done and what I need to do. I need to go take a nap. Otherwise, I'm not going to have the energy tonight that I need. This has been an incredible learning experience. It's been incredible to connect with other people who have all sorts of disabilities. When I was wondering if I had MS or cancer or some sort of autoimmune disease, it really helped me look around and empathize with other people who were in that situation. I was wondering, will I be wheelchair bound the rest of my life? Will I ever be able to ride again? What does this mean for my income? How do other people with disabilities make money and support their families? How does this impact my family dynamics? How does this impact my daughter and how she views life and how someone can provide for their family or not? It's been fascinating, and it's given me a lot of empathy to connect with other people dealing with similar situations, albeit different. So my doctors told me, when you make that list of all the things you need to do and you're just doing the top 10%, mountain biking doesn't get to be in the top 10%. You have to absolutely remove it. Well, mountain biking is how I make an income and provide for my family. So I was really left with a struggle. How do I keep that on the list without draining my body? And I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. There's a very real possibility that at the end of this, after I've exhausted all the different options out there, I'm not able to ride a bike anymore. But I have hope. This is a learning journey for me to understand how to talk about disabilities and limitations. I don't have the language for that right now. I don't know the proper way to ask someone about their limitations without being offensive. And I think sometimes that prevents us from having these discussions that need to happen. We're so worried about saying the wrong thing or offending, or we're so quick to be offended or quick to cancel someone or point the finger at them for not being sensitive enough, that we've made it this scary place to just try to connect with humans. So you're going to see my language about this improve and mature as I go through in this learning journey. I don't have the right terms to describe what I'm dealing with or what other people are dealing with. But I hope that we can give each other a little bit of grace as we go through this and we try our best to make sense of this situation. So if my doctors tell me to stop riding, why do I still want to keep riding? There's lots of reasons, but the main reason for me is the way that I have seen riding change people's lives. One of the most meaningful things I've ever done in my life is coach on my high school mountain bike team. And watching kids come in with very low self-confidence, very poor fitness, very little social skills or friends, and watching them completely transform in 3 to 4 months is one of the most rewarding things ever. And the bicycle is an incredible tool to help people grow and develop, especially teens. I don't want to lose that, and I want to cling on to that and still help in some way. There are many ways I can help without riding, but there's nothing that beats being on the trail with and helping them get through that hurdle when they're stuck or about ready to give up or in tears. I've been there, we've all been there, and we get it. So currently, I'm not able to be on a bike more than 40 minutes without paying for it dramatically for the next month. Right now, I'm able to ride about once every 3 weeks to 4 weeks. If I take it easy and I really take care of my health and I get lucky and I don't get sick, maybe I could ride every other week, which would be wonderful. But I have to be careful because I get on the bike, I get excited, I ride like I used to, which is a very active, engaged, dynamic riding style, up and over rocks, kind of trialsy, and that drains you really fast. My goals are to try anything out there that I can to help me be able to keep enjoying riding and be creative and open-minded to see if I can still hang on to that dream of riding regularly without it completely destroying my health. I have a few theories as to how to make this work. Number one, as I learn more about this illness, I'll be able to manage it better so my body battery grows instead of shrinks. Number two, I've got to change the way that I ride. I moved to Sedona because I love big, technical, lumpy, slow speed, high energy, like bunny hoppy, trialsy climbs. I have a very dynamic riding style. I lift up the bike a lot and spring up things and sprint into things, and I like the climbs more than the descents. And that's a very inefficient way to ride. It's a very exhausting way to ride. It's what I love, but I have a feeling that's going to have to change. I don't have enough energy to do that right now. Hopefully I can get back to that, but I think I'm going to have to calm it down and find enjoyment in less exciting, less technical ways to ride. I have a hypothesis that the right e-bike might be an effective tool, but I'm not sure. I haven't ridden a ton of different e-bikes, and I'm not sure they're the magic bullet that everyone says they are for people with disabilities or limitations, but they do some things that normal bikes don't. So I'm excited to explore that option to see in what ways do they make it easier and in what ways do they make it harder. It'd be great if getting the right e-bike allowed me to get out there and enjoy the trails like I used to, or at least as close to as I used to as possible. Another hypothesis I have is that I'm going to have to change my mindset a lot and stop reverting back to trying to ride the way I used to pre-sickness and try to find a new normal that still brings me the benefits of riding as much as possible, at least. The likelihood of me being able to climb some of Sedona's most technical climbs is going down as this illness progresses, but that doesn't mean my enjoyment for the sport has to. But I think I need to change more than my equipment needs to change. So that'll be an interesting thing to explore as well. I have another hypothesis that I'm not the only one suffering with this stuff. Even if we have different conditions, just from the short amount of time I've been announcing my chronic illness, so many people have come out of the woodwork and said, finally, someone who gets me, someone who understands. And so another hypothesis is that we're not alone and that there's an option for many of us to get together and still socialize and enjoy time together, even on a bike, despite our limitations. So I'm hoping to find a way to connect and do group rides in a way that works for all of us, or maybe meetups or something like that. Maybe as a sort of support group or just a way to still enjoy meeting up with people, getting outside, socializing, even if it means recreating a little differently than we used to. I also have a hypothesis that one day I will overcome this. That's hope. I hold on to that hope, but I'm not saving my joy only for that. I'm going to find a way to enjoy life despite the limitations And if I ever overcome this or make it manageable where I can ride pretty normally again, wonderful. If not, at least I've learned some really interesting tools along the way to make life as enjoyable as possible on a bike, despite the limitations. I also have another hypothesis that I will learn lots of things I haven't even conceived of right now. My hypothesis is that there are a lot of things I'm not aware of that I'm going to become aware of through this journey. And that excites me. I love learning. This is the lot in life that I have right now, and I want to make the most of it. And I think there's a lot of people in this realm as well that don't have a voice. So hopefully this series gives you some hope. Hopefully it brings some awareness to other people who are struggling to get out and ride and enjoy the great outdoors like they used to. And hopefully we learn along the way and discover some cool new ways to adapt our riding so that we can still get out there. If you know someone who's not able to ride as much as they used to be, whether it's an injury or recovery or a physical limitation or disability or something else, please send this video to them so they'll know they're not alone. And hopefully we can all watch along together and learn together as I experiment with different ways to adapt my riding to see if it can still work with my limitations. I hope it provides a lot of answers for people who find themselves in the same boat, unable to recreate on a mountain bike in ways that they used to, but still longing to find a place in cycling for them. I think there is a place for all of us. Thanks for being positive. Thanks for being supportive to everyone in the comments. Thanks for watching and being part of the Big Brain family. Take care.